Hi, I'm Craig. Where is he? Where is he? That's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. Weekdays, we're gonna make it today. Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Episode 108. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Hi, Brad.
I can't believe you started the show without me.
Yeah,
I had to go get this shirt on. It
I
says
know.
Happy Father's Day. It was a gift
Mm-hmm.
a few years ago. It's getting a little smaller on me because it shrinks in the washer and I'm not getting bigger.
Okay.
All right.
Certainly not it. Certainly not it. Well, I'm glad you're here, Brad. Glad you made it.
Thanks. Yeah, I almost didn't make it, but here we are, episode 108.
Mm-hmm.
We made it today. Special Father's Day special. I'm so excited for this episode. Might be one of our best of all time. But before we do that, hey, Craig, on this date, Father's Day, 1989.
Ooh, June 17th, 1989, Batman.
June 20th, 1989.
June 17th is my birthday. Sorry, June 20th.
Happy birthday, by the way. It was Craig's birthday. Let's give him a round of applause. He's 40 years old.
Yeah. I'm a man. I'm 40.
You finally got that facial hair you wanted. Congratulations. It took you 40 good, solid years, but it's looking great, Craig.
I'll tell you this. I've learned to. I'm looking at myself back when I didn't have facial hair, and I'm like, who is that guy? Kind of like how when Dad shaved his mustache, and we're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
You know, remember that?
When you have a dad who has facial hair and you know him only as that, and then he shaves, you're like, oh, you're a stranger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hey, speaking of Dad, hey, it's Father's Day today.
Yeah, that's right.
Very special edition where Jim Skistimus will be making his long-awaited return to the internet a little bit later on. Listen, last time he was on the internet, Brad, was I think it was like 3 years ago. We played through. We spent a week together playing Mario games on Game Attack.
Right.
And that was the last time he appeared on the internet. That wasn't Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I remember that.
Yeah, let's check in on him. Oh, there he is.
Oh,
he'll be back.
He's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. No, okay. Before we get distracted, June 20th, 1989. What was the number one movie in America?
Batman.
You got it, Craig.
I know.
For the first time.
Yeah, 100%.
In the show's history, Craig
100%.
guessed the number one movie in America.
Listen,
Batman.
Not even. Listen, wasn't even a second thought. It's like it's the summer. It's a huge hit.
Yeah.
Batman '89, 100%. Not a doubt in my mind. It was Batman. Oh,
I got to see Batman a few years ago at my local movie theater. They do like a flashback theater, and they showed Batman. It was a couple summers ago, and I realized I'm seeing this movie 30 years ago. Or 30 years later, for the first time in the theater, seen it on VHS 100 billion times as a kid, seen it on DVD, watched it on Blu-ray, but to go back in the theater and watch Batman, and I brought my oldest, I brought Dylan with me, and to bring my son with me, oh, it was great, it was fantastic. And Michael Keaton is returning as Batman, if you haven't heard, in the new Flash movie. If you haven't seen the first look pictures, Michael Keaton is out there as, I'm just going to call him 1989 Batman.
Well, I just don't understand why he would be in it. Oh, look. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. Have you seen this picture? No, that's got to be a Photoshop. It's a Photoshop. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Well, here, just look at this real quick. I was like, this has got to be a Photoshop.
Oh, yeah, that's a Photoshop. I saw that way early on. Okay, no, but there is a picture of Michael Keaton, and he looks like an old Bruce Wayne.
Well, that's the idea.
There's a leaked picture, and it's exciting. And that's the only reason I'll be seeing that movie. And I'm looking forward to it just for that one reason. And so it worked on me. Movie marketing.
Do you want to see the picture? You want to see the leak picture?
Yeah, let's share it with everybody.
There it is right here. Check it out. Boom. Right there.
There he is.
Oh,
That's so exciting.
Sorry.
Oh.
Look at how silly this is. 1 ad, 2 ads, 3 ads, 4 ads, 5 ads. Then you scroll down, you get 6 ads. This is unbelievable.
Don't you want to buy some clothes?
Wait, who is this?
For 50% off? Yeah, I think Supergirl. I guess I don't know I have not been paying attention to any of these superhero movies for
Look at her
while.
Abs. What?
Those aren't real, Craig.
No, but they look like alien abs. You know, like it doesn't even look.
Yeah. It's I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. All I care about is 1989 Michael Keaton walking into a movie, saying, "Hey," probably dying, and then I'll be like, "Cool, he made it back on the screen after all these years."
Nice. Hey, Alex the Worm King came in with 100 bits. Says, "Hey, Craig, happy Father's Day." Hey, thanks, Alex the Worm King. Greatly appreciate that. Glad you guys were in.
Hey, how was your Father's Day?
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good today. We went out, we kind of hung out. It was just me and the girls because Kristen's not feeling very good today. So we let her kind of rest, and we went out and just kind of did some daddy-daughter stuff, and we went to a couple farmers market because the girls like to do that, and drove around a lot. We went to a park, and did what daddies do. What about you?
I woke up. I got breakfast in bed from the kids, which was a bowl of cereal, a banana, and an apple, and a glass of water. And they presented me with a gift.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I got some handmade cards.
Oh, that's
really nice. And then I got an actual gift. I got a watch. I got a new Fossil watch, and it's engraved on the back with their initials. And I had been talking about how I wanted a watch for like the last 5 years, and they got me a watch a while back, but it fell apart. And this one is a good one.
Oh, that's not, look at how happy Dad is. Look at him. Look at him.
He's so excited to be on the internet. Oh, he's shaving.
We'll come back to Dad in a little bit. There it is.
He's getting ready for his big screen return.
I feel like we should just have Dad always on and just
got to sit there so you can pop in.
Exactly. Yeah. Every once in a while, you just go, "Hey, Jim." And that's it. That's all you get, I feel like that's
doing. Yeah. That's a great addition to the show, I think.
I 100% agree. Like, you don't really ask for a whole lot. Just you know what?
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing over there? All right.
That's good.
Moving on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so guess what? Let's get to our regular staples because I know you guys are clamoring for this. All right. I know you guys are excited to get back because we didn't do a show last week because last week we did have my 40th birthday party, which was weird to have it on a Sunday night, right? So we had that, and it was weird because we had Maddie's birthday is earlier than mine. So we had a birthday party right in between. So she had her birthday party earlier in the day at our house, and then I had my birthday party that evening at the house, and we did a double dip 7-year-old birthday and 40-year-old birthday on the same day, and it was quite the excitement, so much so that we were not able to do weekdays with Craig and Brad last week. So here we are 2 weeks later.
First time ever. We never made it, but it was with good cause. I mean, you only turned 40 once, you only turned 7 once, and you guys understand.
Yeah, listen, the legends know. But you know what they also know is it's time for the YouTube comment of the day. This is a good one this week. Actually, this 2 weeks because, whatever, right? This one comes from NMLSS, who I believe he's been a YouTube comment of the day before, but says, "I sometimes disagree with Craig and Brad, and that's okay. You know what? You're right. That is okay. But Brad's new song is simply 10 out of 10. So accurate it hurts, and way more punk rock than most punk rock I've listened to in years."
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
There you go. So MNLSS. Hey, for being 2 weeks away, for being away for 2 weeks, and you deliver that, guess what? You get 64.5 points for that. Congratulations. You are the YouTube comment. Crap, you are the YouTube comment of the day. So I thought I had it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about it. That's okay.
That's okay.
So speaking of your song, it's almost like 60,000 views now, right?
Yeah, we crossed over 60,000 views. It got a lot of. It's crossed 100,000 views collectively across a whole bunch of social networks. I had, if you know who Dinesh D'Souza is, he shared it on his Rumble platform, and it quickly just went crazy. I got a lot of really great press last week from the Post Millennial, Louder with Crowder. Twitchy.com. I did not expect that, and it was really fantastic. So it's really helped kind of push the video out there and get it out there. And I'm glad people are connecting with it. I have not had the amount of pushback that I thought I would. Knock on wood.
Now, to be clear,
people that are in that video, yeah.
To be clear, like when you say those are primarily conservative outlets. Like you have also offered it up to liberal outlets as well, and central outlets as well. So, and it's only been shown on conservative. Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're willing to show it off, and if it doesn't, I don't know, maybe it doesn't fit the narrative of some of the other places. I don't know, but to me right now, what I'm doing with music is just taking the world as I see it and putting it in a video and song. And so, it is what it is.
Well, congratulations on your success. It's pretty good. Way to go.
Thanks. It's been good.
Love that. Okay. Hey, guess what? Also 2 weeks ago, we had a What the Heck Is That? We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
Haven't done it in a while. And it's time to reveal just truly.
What the heck is that?
Yeah. All right.
Do you have what it was last week?
Yeah, I've got it pulled up. I got it pulled up right here. Okay. So for those of you that remember or that were making a good guess on it. Oh, hold on. My light's about to fall over. Okay.
Oh, boy.
So here was our picture. This is a game where I show you a blurry picture. You got to guess what it is. Craig, do you have any final guesses before we do the reveal? It's been 2 weeks. Let me 2 weeks.
Let me do some of the legends real quick, because the legends actually had some really good guesses. Pineapple Pizza Hater says an orange-billed goose looking at its reflection in the water, right? And then he says, and something's off about its butt, perhaps. Maybe it's spliced with a dog or a fish or something. So that was their guess.
Okay.
What the heck is from Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner says a predator on the right and someone on his knees begging for their life on the left. Christopher Barrett says, I think it's somebody like a dumb tourist harassing a royal guard. And let's see. Let's get one last one real quick.
Tai in the chat says it's monkey sex.
Oh, okay. Well, let's find out just what the heck that is.
All right. Is it monkey sex? Let's see. The reveal of what the heck is that.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Dad, what do you think?
Monkey sex.
All right.
All right.
I gotta be honest.
Soundbite of our dad saying monkey sex.
I was gonna say, didn't expect that to come out of my dad's voice tonight,
or ever.
All right,
just saying. Okay, the reveal of what the heck is that in 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
it's Cats
good
in Kung Fu Battle. Anybody get that?
I did not see that as a guess. No, did not. Yeah. CDI goes, I was close. Right.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was kitty cat karate or kitty cat kung fu. However you want to call it. A little bit to the left of monkey sex. So
that's nice.
Yeah. So there it is. Fantastic. I'm glad we were able to come back around to that because I almost forgot about it. You skip 2 weeks of it or a week of a show, things get behind. So we're all caught up now.
Hey, speaking of karate stuff, Cobra Kai season 4.
Yeah.
Man, they haven't announced a date for it, but I'll tell you what, they're building it right now. They're building that hype, and I'm ready for Terry Silver to come back.
Yeah. Now the real pain begins.
Oh man, come on.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. I'm excited.
Hit that
sure we'll talk about it on the show.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be
so good. It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna binge watch it.
Binge watch so hard. Hey, listen. I want to remind you guys before we get into that really important stuff and introduce our dad back to the show. I want to remind you guys that this episode is brought to you by CollaboratorClub.com, my brand new outlet, which is built for people who have YouTube channels, which you do because you're on this platform and you're watching right now. If you have a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel and you're looking to grow as a creator, whether you have 0 subscribers or 7 million subscribers, it is a platform for you. And actually right now, for the first time ever, I'm actually looking to work with you potentially. I have this thing called a WeFunder where I'm actually looking for investment, and you could actually invest in Collaborator Club. So you go to wefunder.com/Collaborator Club and you can learn more about it. And that's pretty much legally all I can actually tell you about it. But you got to go there because there's all this crazy SEC stuff that I can't say. So I just need you to go check it out for yourself if you're intrigued at all. So far, the response has been outstanding, and people are really, really excited about this. So hopefully, we can make some magic happen. And the campaign actually launches July 1st. But if you get in before July 1st, you actually have an opportunity to get extra equity, I guess, or whatever. Just go look at it. Just go look at it right now. It's invest at wefunder.com/Collaborator Club. So there you go.
Wouldn't that be fantastic if Collaborator Club was funded by collaboration?
That's the whole idea. I know. Isn't that amazing? The whole idea that this entire platform could be, the initial funding of it could be built off collaboration and people who believe in collaborating.
That would be incredible. Get on over there.
Yeah, it's amazing how it works. Great stuff.
Take that Bitcoin money you were going to invest in Bitcoin and put it into Collaborator Club.
Yeah, it's hey, it could go to the moon.
That's
or
right.
It could fail miserably. It's an investment, just like anything else. So that's the one thing. I mean, really, that's it. I mean, I legally have to say that.
Okay.
I legally have to say, like, it could be great, or it could not be. Or you could lose all your money. But the point is that I've obviously had 2 companies that've gone okay, and
so I've still got a chance.
There you go. So Jeff Ratterfin says I'm barred from investing. WeFunder doesn't allow folks from my Canadian province to invest via WeFunder. May not be WeFunder allowing that. It may be your Canadian province allowing you to do that for sure. So Aiden says, invest in the company. That's interesting. Yeah, man, go check it out. You can go check it out right now. Once again, the link is wefunder.com/Collaborator Club. Okay. Hey, Alex Wormking with 100 bits says, Craig, thoughts on Universal Studios making a Nintendo World? Well, they did that in Japan, and I believe they're doing it over here in the United States as well. I thought I saw some news about that, but it's been known for a while that it's coming over to Florida, and that is definitely going to be happening. So my thoughts on it, amazing, and I can't wait to go. And so much so that I actually want to go to Japan to go to the first one. But can I just be honest? Like, it looks really fun, but I don't know if it's worth a trip across the world.
Yeah.
How
long can you spend there? Like,
it seems like you can like walk in and out of it in like 45 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth a ticket to Japan though.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Jeff says, I read all the fine print FAQs. Good. Well, then maybe it is. I don't know. There's got to be some sort of legal reason why your province can't allow you to, or WeFunder doesn't. I don't know. There's rules and regulations everywhere. Okay. Let's get to the meat of the show here, baby. Let's get to the meat of the show.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brad, how about you do the intro? Introduce our father.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, returning to the internet for the first time since 2019.
Sure.
19-ish.
18?
2018. Back to answer questions from his own sons tonight on a very special episode of Weekdays with Craig and Brad. We welcome special guest James Skistimus.
Oh no.
You got to scoot back.
Oh no.
A little further back. Okay, a little closer. You're too far back now. You look like a ghost head. I love that you look like Zombie from Pee-wee's Playhouse. You just look like a floating head. Well, this is our dad. or part of him. It's just his head. He's got our dad is a special effects wizard for all of your favorite Hollywood movies.
Dad, can you say Mechaleka hi, Mecha hiney ho?
Mecca like a hiney, I know.
Oh no.
Good one.
Here,
Good one.
It's my dad, Jim Skistimus, or Jambi from. Oh my gosh! All right,
That's great.
Hey, you guys take plastic? I want to invest.
Oh.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you got to let your parents invest in whatever you're doing. They're the number one.
That's right. Well, you got to cover up. Make sure you cover up your number on there, Dad.
I did.
Good for you. Good.
Besides, it would be their.
All right.
It'd be to their disadvantage. Yeah. Well,
Nice.
Welcome to the show, Dad. Welcome to the internet.
Oh,
Happy Father's Day. Thanks for giving us life. Thanks for being part of our creation. This show that has entertained literally hundreds of people,
Dozens,
maybe dozens, would not be possible if not for your help in creating our life. So thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
okay.
So tonight I thought would be fun was I found a website that has it's like questions to ask your. This is the title, Dad. All right. Tonight's episode, I want you to answer these real. Okay. I'm dead serious on it. This needs to be a very touching, sincere episode of Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Well, let's see. Let's go through my notes on that one. Then.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay. All right.
Dad, do you want to tell the internet a little bit about you and what you do?
Hold on. The question
You know more about me than
you remember.
I remember.
we're gonna find out because the questions I have to ask. There are 12 questions to ask your dad before he's gone.
Oh, that's deep.
Dad, we're gonna ask you 12 questions tonight.
I'm going.
Oh no.
He's already got a few screws loose.
Mecca hi, Mecca hiney.
Oh no.
Quality.
He's gone. There he is.
Oh, we didn't get to ask him the questions.
Long live Jimby. All right.
There we go.
Oh man, we're horrible. Alex came in with 200 bits. Says hi, Craig's dad.
Yeah.
How are you?
Say hi to James Skistimus.
All right, and Tai resubbed tier 1 for 10 months. Okay, so Dad, are you ready for these hard-hitting questions?
I guess.
Okay.
I signed up for it, so.
I know. Well, this is Father's Day, and we wanted to make sure that there was a Father's Day tie-in here. It's important, right? Because some of my favorite things doing like
You
when
have
I think of
hi, Brett.
What'd you say, Dad?
I thought you said you needed a Father's Day tie.
No, Dad, just shut up sometimes. All right.
We get the dad jokes tonight
I know.
on the Father's Day spectacular episode of Weekdays with Craig and Brad. We should have had a dad joke counter on in the little corner of the screen.
You're right.
Had we prepared properly.
Missed
Maybe next
opportunities.
year's episode. Okay.
All
So
right,
Craig's got some questions. Dad, you're
Right.
going to answer them.
I will be somber.
And I have some pictures set off to the side, and I'll pull them up when appropriate.
And I
Okay.
won't look.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, Dad. First question from
Hi, honey.
fatherly.com. The first question is number 1, what are you most proud of in your life?
You saw my Facebook post.
No, I didn't. I don't follow you on Facebook.
Well,
I saw it. It was a nice.
well,
post.
I'm proud of my guys, my family, my kids. More than anything.
Why
Huh?
Why would you be proud of any of us?
Tell us, and Dad, tell us
The
more.
other things I've done.
Okay. Well, that's very nice, and Dad, it's reciprocated, Dad. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Go on.
Number 2, why did you choose your career? And I think this is an interesting question because you had several careers. Because you, I guess let's start with your first career because your first career you were an illustrator.
No,
Here.
my first career I was in landscaping for a year.
I've never heard that in my entire life.
What?
Yeah. When I was going to school, I worked for a landscaping company.
Doing
For
what?
a year.
Huh?
For a year?
I was raking stones, basically.
Well, yeah, but like doing like so. Okay, you weren't going into like be a landscaper or make it a career. You just did it as a job.
It's your first job.
That's why I only lasted a year.
Oh, okay. Well,
It was actually my first job.
Okay.
And then my second job was working for the guy's brother, who he was in excavating, and
Okay.
I really liked that. I was driving a truck all day,
Mm-hmm.
I was split shifting, doing all that stuff. And
Go ahead.
What do it?
How did you? So wait, how did you get into drawing? Like you went into your main career that was illustration.
My mother always had an artistic thing going on, and she wanted me to be an artist of sorts. How to make a living out of being an artist was the other thing that she didn't think about. But and my dad did, and but still, I was like, because my mother thought of it, I thought, no, I'm going to go into phys ed. And I went to the University of Oklahoma, signed up for the deal for their, whatever they call it, the classes. And one of the classes was zoology. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out why I needed to take zoology. So therefore, after flunking 2 semesters, I decided maybe it's time to be an artist. So it's like,
wait, so you wanted to be essentially a PE teacher?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Really?
That's interesting because
when you take phys ed, I mean,
that's interesting because you have a daughter who is a phys ed teacher.
Yeah, I've been coaxing her all this time to move into that position. She didn't know it, but it's all subtle, very subtle. I would, kind of like, oh, Dad, I really want to be a, real estate tycoon. I said, no, go into phys ed.
Right. Wait, so I love your subtle sarcasm, but so you then you decided you wanted to draw after that.
You got no skin stage hand.
Dad, he's got a squeaky chair.
I do.
Hey, so pull up this picture here. Let's talk about this guy.
Uh-huh.
This is James Skistimus, illustrator, in Suite 909.
Yep.
Where was this office?
That was, they call it, it was on Stemmons Freeway in Dallas. It was called Stemmons Towers, actually, because it was named after the guy who owned the whole freaking freeway. Mm-hmm. Stemmons, John Stemmons.
How did you fall into illustration, professional illustration, and what was your first gig? What got you to this office?
What got me? Okay, I can hit you with that pretty easy.
Yeah,
because I can remember that because I've told myself, gone through that story many times. But anyhow, after getting out of phys ed and going into art education, I was going to be a teacher. I graduated with my degree and realized that I really don't know what I'm talking about. So I decided I'm going to learn more about art itself. And I tried, and I decided, well, I don't know. It was kind of like dumb luck. But coming out of school, I ran into a fella on the soccer field of all things. Because I came out of basic training, I was really good shape, and I was playing, and I wanted to play soccer. I don't know how old I was then, pretty young. But anyhow, he happened to coincidentally have rep 2 of the most incredible illustrators in the country. And one fellow's named Bart Forbes. He's still cooking out there. Another fellow was Jack Unruh, which was quite. He passed away a couple years ago, but both of them were like stars.
Were they mentors?
Huh?
Were they mentors?
They were mentors from afar. I met them a couple times, but it's like I kept my distance because I don't, like Kenny once said about people he was associating with. He said, I don't feel worthy of bringing them a cup of coffee, that type of thing, But anyhow, they were good. I watched them continually. And my very first job, though, coming out of school, with a really lack of talent that I had, lack of skills and that stuff, I somehow this is where I know there's a God. Okay, I know there's a God, because Sanger Harris's department store down in Dallas, my first interview with some really bad drawings. And I went and had my first interview with them, and then came back with a second interview, and I redid another little drawing with, it was kind of romantic looking thing with the logo underneath it, and for Sanger Harris. And anyhow, they thought they'd give me a chance because one of their head guys, one of their good illustrators was moving on. And so I was at the right place, right time. Mm-hmm. And so I worked for them for 18 months, picked up some freelance jobs from a company called Horchow Collection. And I was doing some catalog works for them, and then catalog works for a division of theirs, which is trifles. And I was making more money doing that than I was working for Sanger's. So it was like, okay, I think I can do this on my own, type of thing. So then I was on my own through 89, I guess it was. So it was like.
So this is when we were kids. Like this is, I'm 8 at this time. Brad we're single digit kids at this point. We're just young kids.
Yeah.
While you're doing
this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I remember speaking of the office that you're talking about, you mentioned that's down off Stemmons. That was like an hour away from our house. Like, did you not find a closer place to office?
It was 11 minutes.
What?
It was 11 minutes.
From the first house.
From the Irving.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Irving to downtown.
Now, okay. Well, keep in mind though. Also, as we go on, let's not mention specific cities or anything outside of that. So,
I'll scratch the letters.
No, okay, but okay. So then we moved, and then that's when it got super far away. Right.
I remember going there like once or twice when I was real little.
This was before you guys.
No,
then you moved to a different office.
Yeah, we're talking about the ones down off 35. There was the ones like down off 35 that were over by where Medieval Times is.
That's Stemmons Towers.
Okay.
No. Okay. Well, whatever.
It's okay. It's okay. So,
so that's a long roundabout way to why did you choose your career? Because you failed 2 classes in PE, like learning the PE stuff.
Well, that's an interesting parallel because to my story, because I wasn't good in school, but I wasn't interested in school. But all I wanted to do was play music. I think when I don't know, maybe you just found what you were good at and you just decided to go for it.
No, I found I was lucky. I really was lucky because actually, the interesting story about that rep that I was telling you about, I invited him over after the soccer game and for him to look at my portfolio. And he looked at it and we drank a couple beers and said goodbye and whatever. And so in the meantime, a year passes before I see him again. And I was working my tail off trying to improve. And again, going back to those 2 illustrators that were my mentors, I saw what they were doing and I was striving, to do that.
But by the way, I feel, I'm sorry to interrupt, Dad. I feel like we should tell people, when we say illustrator, I think all of us know what that means. But illustrator, you would create logos and do print work for people. I feel like, what is an illustrator? I'm sorry, because I feel like that's something that.
Well, it's the same thing as it is today. I mean, it's just that it's a different medium,
Yeah.
where it's like, again, I'm doing some digital work, vector work and stuff like that. But in those days, it was, pencil to the paper, lead to the paper. And
So you would draw different like catalog imagery and
yeah, it's all hand
Right.
drawn and everything. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And like if they, particularly like for the catalog stuff, it was, you draw an old meat grinder or something like that, and it was called retail, and that's what I was doing for Sanger Harris. I was drawing pots and pans for them, not very glamorous, but then every once in a while I got the chance to draw cosmetics, so it was like, and then from there, somehow I got hooked up with the catalog company, and then I started to build from that, going to agencies, and started to get a style that was, if a lot of times, if the agency couldn't afford the brand name illustrators, there's me starving, so it's like,
Right.
so I would try to,
Yeah.
I would emulate a style. I would try to create a style anyhow. So it took quite a while before I tried to start a style of my own.
Mhm.
And that was kind of like at the time computers started coming in, and I got scared of them. So I backed away.
Well, and that kind of moved you to, and I just kind of, I feel like we could talk all night, and we probably should, because this is probably, here's the thing. I remember doing this with Grandpa. I had a conversation with Grandpa like this, and I had a school project where I essentially interviewed him on the phone, and like I don't know where that tape is, but like I remember doing that, and I feel like that's what I'm doing. That's like what we're doing right now. Because this is
He got a note from Mom. He got a fax from Mom.
That's stagehand.
Anyways, but I feel like that's what we're doing right now. Is like we'll have this forever, which is great. So
it's fantastic. What's another question, Craig? Because we could obviously the dangerous thing with these questions is that we, as dad's kids, can get sucked into the stories,
right,
and we tend to forget there's people watching. So let's try to keep the questions and answers a little more succinct.
I was thinking about this because I was thinking like, should I like try to be host here, or should I just be son and listen?
I want to be son and listen.
Later.
I'm not telling you to talk less, Dad. I'm just thinking Craig said 12 questions.
Yeah. Well, Chet, what do you think? Because I'll go I'll go as long or as late as we need to go.
I don't know. Just cut me off anytime and
well, what's the next question, Craig?
Okay, before we do that, Dr. Double Jump came in with 320 bits. Says 1, 2, 3 Skistomus dads. I think that's kind of like I read that as like the count. One Skistomus dad.
3 Skistomus dads.
That's right. All right, next story. And once again, this is questions to ask your dad. And I encourage everybody watching to do this as well. That's why we're doing this segment tonight. We're only on number 3. But, number 2 took a while. So, number 3. Dad, who was the most influential person in your life?
My dad, indirectly, because I didn't realize it until later.
Why? Why? How?
Because he was a silent. He was, still waters run deep type of thing, where he wasn't very vocal, but he pulled some good things on me that made me realize that he's watching me, and even, truthfully, even after he died, he would still come to me in really weird ways that, I really look good for these stories. It's like ghost stories,
So okay,
no, but it's but no, he and my mom, both, but I was closer to my mom than I was to my dad. but yet his work ethic and everything else going on with him, and his ability to help people and things like that made a big impression on me that stayed with me. So, and I, everything that I do, I think reflects back on him at some point in time, whether they know who he was or not. That's the way I feel. It's the way I think. And so I have my second. It's funny though. My second most influential person was that second job that I had driving trucks. That man was, he had great business sense. He was a good man, and I was proud to work with him.
What was his name?
John Guitars.
John Guitars?
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
Hey, it's me, John Guitars.
That's right.
That's awesome.
But
that's an interesting story because you talk about the influence of your dad and how he indirectly influenced you. And I had a realization after, going out on my own into the world and having over the years having to take on certain projects. And I realized you sort of acted as a Mr. Miyagi to me as because you did event decorating growing up, and you and mom and you had your own company.
Mr. Miyagi is looking for flies. Hold on.
I was the youngest. I was pulled in to work with you all the time. And I never wanted to go. Focus, Dad. Focus. I'm trying to tell you you've done something for me here. But you pulled me in on all these jobs, and I never wanted to go because I was a teenager. And I'm sitting there going like, oh, I got things I got to do. I want to do. All the while I was learning all these different skill sets that I didn't know I was learning until I was out into the real world. And I realized, it's one of those Danielson moments where you're like, oh, and then you realize you can do all these things. And so, thanks.
Right. I think that's the thing.
This weekend, you want to come out and help me?
No, I've got things to do.
I was thinking about that. I remember, so after, just for those who don't know, after you illustrated, you and mom started a business called the Balloon House. And the Balloon House was, and I'm not kidding when I say this, it was like the pinnacle of their industry. They were the top people in their industry. And they essentially made balloon creations, when you think like balloon arches and stuff like that, but they were doing floats and balloon releases. And we did so many proms and all these things. And you came up with patented technology and stuff. And, but I remember there's a few nights in particular that I remember, but one in particular was the opening of the Rangers ballpark. And I think I was probably 12 or 13 at the time. And
sorry.
Well, so it was the opening of the Rangers ballpark, and I just remember it being so cold. It was early spring, and it was freezing, and I remember at any ballpark they have the ramps that take you up to the upper levels and stuff, and I remember just trying to burrow in there in the middle. It's like 2-3 in the morning, and y'all are blowing up these balloons, and you hear these the balloons inflating and from the helium and stuff.
That was that first image when you brought that up.
Yeah, so and being on these jobs when I'm 12, 13 years old, it was probably 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever, for Brad and I. We're learning these things, and it's one of those things. One of the biggest ones was like, you did what you had to do. We had to do what we had to do because you had to work, and you couldn't just leave us at the house. So we had to go with you, and you couldn't just leave us at the house and be like, well, we'll see you later. And the bigger thing is that you also needed our help. You needed our help just in a little bit. Oftentimes we were annoying and in the way, but there were times where you needed our help, or you needed, our, Kenny and Holly's help, so it's
20 people on the job that night.
Yeah, it's crazy. Awesome. So, All right, well, let's move on real quick. AKA the Skay. Thank you so much for the host. Appreciate that. If you guys coming in, glad you guys are here. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And if you guys watching over on YouTube or on Twitch, we really appreciate you guys popping in. This is not exactly a show per se this week. It's more just us talking to our dad because it is Father's Day, and we thought we'd sit down and kind of have some fun.
They never come to see me.
I saw you.
We have the internet now.
We went to lunch today. What are you talking about?
He doesn't remember that far back, Craig.
I literally took you to lunch. All right. Whoa,
Hey,
hold on.
let's all be dad.
Yeah, Dad. Why are you just like looking around? You're legitimately scaring me. Is Dad about to
He's
pass out and die?
acting.
I was trying to remember lunch. Actually, that was after lunch.
All right. Okay. Yeah, it was. Wasn't it?
I was waiting for Indiana Jones.
Okay, so you mentioned, here's question number 4. You mentioned the most influential person in your life being your dad, Grandpa Hike. Number 4, what do you admire most about your father?
He had a sense of humor that I didn't know. He had an underlying sense of humor to him that I think kept him cool. I think he can make the best out of a crappy situation.
You can say that. It's okay.
But yeah, he that, and I think the one thing that he worked basically 4 jobs or 3 jobs. He had a full-time job as an automotive machinist. He took jobs on the side to help people and stuff like that, to fix their cars and stuff like that. If they didn't have money, he'd barter or just take the goodness of do just to help. And then his full-time job, besides his other full-time job, was the farm, because he had a 500 tree apple farm, and he was the chief cook and bottle washer for that whole thing. My mom did the business end of it, but he was out there day in and day out, doing one thing or another. And the sad thing of it is they were primarily, my mom told me this one time, because I was wondering about, all the money they're making, right? They had, you'd sell a basket of apples for $1.75, a basket is, but I can't get all my hands in here, but anyhow, they worked it just to pay the taxes.
Right, just enough to pay off the land, right? Pay off the tax of the land, right?
Yeah, and which is another story in itself, because he actually ended up buying the property from his brothers and sisters, which turned out to be an ugly deal. But anyhow, yeah. But he was. I never really saw him upset. My brother may have. He's older than me, so by the time I came around, he may have been more mellow. But
you had a story about him catching you in a lie, and I think that probably exemplified his character pretty good. Where you didn't see him upset, but he would certainly set you straight, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And
go on, you go, next question.
Oh, we don't want to hear that story?
Well, it don't matter. It does matter, because it really kind of maybe shows how people were raised, how kids were raised in the old days.
You get whooped?
Huh?
Did you get whooped?
No, I never got whooped. I got threatened to be whooped, but I never was whooped. He pulled his belt out a couple times.
I remember you'd break out your belt every once in a while and you'd snap the belt.
I'm gonna get you good.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Number 5. What is your biggest life lesson?
Let's see. Go to my notes here.
What did you write down? You do keep notes of everything you learned throughout your life each day, right? You have a journal.
My biggest life lesson. That's bizarre. Because there's a lot of lessons together that go to make one. So, number one, I think never give up on yourself. That that there's always opportunities in America.
I think that's.
I mean, that's pretty much.
What? Why? Why is that the biggest life lesson for you?
Because I've seen people that have given up on themselves, and it does no good.
I've had a lot of people come up and talk about their hard times, in their life, and they're, my age, younger, 30s, 20s. And they say, I'm going through a really tough patch right now. And I think it's important to hear those things, though, just the idea like you shouldn't give up on yourself. You shouldn't give up on your situation, and that
it's temporary.
Right.
It seems like such a simple lesson, but it's so hard to do sometimes.
Okay.
To keep up with it, when you have your certain goals or expectations of life and things aren't going, everybody deals with that. And so I think that's a good one to always keep in check.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many things that there's so many resources that you could pull from when you're down, and I think having a belief in a higher spirit, a higher power, is like when you're all alone, you can reach out, to at least relieve your mind from whatever distraught you have at the moment. But there's always roads. There's always a path. Sometimes, it ain't a good path. Sometimes it is a good path. Luckily, I haven't taken too many bad paths. But
right. Well, here's Harold. Harold, with the irony here of coming in with life is hard, but you don't give up.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let's have a conversation.
I'll give you 2 bits on that.
All right. You want to add anything else to that, Dad?
I just want, if I were to have more family or start again, there's not too many things that I would have done differently. I don't know, because you guys have been very sensitive to what we do, to what I did, to watch your mom and I work and stuff like that. And you took it to heart. Now if I had another group of kids, I don't know if they would take it to heart. Not in this circumstances today. But it's still I just hope everybody out there in internet land can keep your shit together about them, because it's we got to get back to the basics. But anyhow, okay, next.
Well, the internet's not real life. I think we all understand that the internet's not real life. And
but they were looking at real life.
Right. Okay. Question number 6. Once again, I'm reading off. This is from fatherly.com. This is questions to ask your dad. Right. And once again, we want to welcome everybody in. If you're just tuning in, this is our dad. It's Father's Day. We thought we'd do a Father's Day fun spectacular where we have our dad in and just kind of ask him these questions, because these are important questions that we won't, I pre-screened all these. I feel like they're important questions, and you should ask your dad these too, because it's important to know these things. Just we get to share this experience with you, and I don't know if that's right or not, but either way, hopefully you guys enjoy it. So
we invited the thriller movie version of Our Father tonight.
Yeah, what is the logic behind not having the light on in your house? Like, what is? Are you just like ashamed of your background, or what?
You got laundry in back of me.
So what? So what? Do you think anybody legitimately cares? And can you turn off that stupid light?
Okay.
All right. Question number 6. Is there anything you regret not doing in your life?
Yeah.
Is that it? Can you give us one example?
I would. Nah. I mean, it's what it is there's some things that I wished I followed through on.
Like what?
Some of the stuff I was doing when I was working with Mom, and some of the ideas I was coming up with, like for some patent stuff and junk like that I backed away from, because I had gone through a lot of crap with the first patent. Figured it was not worth it. But just little things like that. I mean, nothing that was. The only thing that leaves me wondering is what could have been, or what if it would have made a difference in my world, in our world. But so
nothing, no places you regret not going, no, but
I don't even know where I'm at most of the time. So no, we got no, I got to see. I mean, in the balloon business as it was, y'all out there, it's like, that's not a bad business.
Let's talk about some of your accomplishments real quick, because you did travel the world. You went to Australia. You went to Japan. You opened up Michael Jordan's restaurant. You did TV parades in Seattle for many years. We all flew up there. You designed, built, and drove floats for TV parades. Major televised parades. You won the awards of all awards for your industry, and you really were the peak of your industry at that time. You were so good, as a matter of fact, that they ultimately screwed you out of winning, right? The following years.
You can. I mean, we did it. We won it 4 times in a row.
You couldn't keep winning. You were winning so much you couldn't keep winning.
We
they
were
wouldn't
coming
let
up
you.
with new ideas. We kind of felt like we were,
His dad being humble.
That again, where my dad comes back into me and goes like, well, whatever, It doesn't in that industry too. It doesn't really affect anything as far as your status in it. Or your ability to make a living,
Sure. Well, but you guys, I mean, you're right. It's just like a notch in the belt. But at the same time, you guys were like the Michael Jordan of that industry. I mean, truly, you won championship, and you're winning all these awards, doing all these crazy things. I mean, and let's just be real. Like, talk about making a living out of something that you didn't know existed, prior. I remember Mom coming home with that multicolored spiral balloon and thinking that was the coolest thing, and her being like, "Look what I learned how to do today." And then all of a sudden, guess what? There's a business. Yeah. And like, how crazy is that? And guess what? You're the best at it.
So just to bring it to give some context to our viewers. So our dad is an illustrator. You guys are moving forward. You're looking for a new path, a new way into a new career. Mom balloon. How would you describe that? Because she would go to these classes and come
It was
home
balloon.
and
It was balloon decorating.
balloon decorating. Okay.
Yeah.
And she would come home from these classes. She made a pumpkin out of a balloon or an apple out of a balloon. And I remember those early memories, and it was like, oh, cool. And you guys took that concept and you scaled it into parade floats, and you scaled it into structural designs where you had uh, birthday cakes that would explode and balloon walls for magic events and corporate events and all these crazy cool things that you guys were able to do with just the idea of a balloon. Because I remember telling my friends growing up, when you had such a unique business, that when I said, oh, my parents work with balloons, they thought that you were balloon twisty animal people, and that was always the that was the idea. It was like, oh, what do you mean they're clowns? What do you mean? But you guys worked your way up to figuring out what you could do with that as a almost like clay.
Well,
what can I sculpt out of this?
That was my when I first got into business with Mom. That was basically the perception of the industry, and I was like, well, if we're going to do this, I want to push it. So, and I took my skills as an illustrator and having other mechanical skills in that stuff and kind of worked with it.
Hey, look at this. Look what I just found. Okay. Just to kind of give people an example of what our parents did. This is what they did. Like, they make wizards out of balloons and stuff. Like, this is crazy. This is from 1993, and I remember seeing this, and you guys would sculpt these things and make them, and it was nuts. So,
yeah, and those are huge sculptures.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they were. I think if anything, if Mom and I had a contribution to the industry, it went from. That was the very first time I did anything like that, and all of a sudden they wanted me to teach a class. And as I'm still learning, I was still learning it as I was doing it. And here I'm teaching a class, and it's like I don't teach well because when I'm thinking, so because I'm showing.
You're a visionary, is what you are, and so and I have the same problem sometimes, where you get so used to working in your own way, trying to execute your own vision, that when it comes time to teach it to somebody else, it's kind of hard to explain all of these little inner workings that are going on in your brain. You're just like, I don't know, I just do it. And so that's one way that you were a Mr. Miyagi to me, and how I put it is that I probably got to watch you actually work and work underneath you more than anybody else. I'm your protege, Dad.
Craig.
Yes.
Again, our contribution, I think that was called balloon distortion. Okay. And I think of anything that we may have helped the industry with is that concept, because not in America, but the Japanese and the Italians took up that concept, and they have taken it to incredible heights.
Well,
as far as the kind of detail that they're getting now. Here's
another one. Remember Elvis?
Yeah.
Don't look too hard here, Craig.
Yeah, but this is 7 years later.
Yeah.
This is in 2000. This is in 1993, and yes, these are full-size balloons, guys. For those who are asking, and then so you guys would do this, and like. You guys were the best at it, which is crazy. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that really fast.
Next question. How many more? How many more we got?
Oh shoot! Hold on. I accidentally closed. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. We're halfway through, but we don't have to go all the way through. All right. This one. We'll see how you feel here, Dad. All right. How would your father describe you?
Let's make it a
Probably a
two-part
little bit older.
hold on. Let's make it a two-part question, Dad. How would he have described you when as a young man, and how would he describe you today if he was still around to see you?
Well, today he'd have a hard time, but I don't know. He was always watching over me somehow. It's like, oh, just got. Hey, good. All right, next question.
You can't do that.
You can't just do that.
Nobody knows what you were just thinking about.
Yeah, but I do.
I want to know how Grandpa Hike would describe you.
I think he never knew how I made a living as an illustrator. And back then, I was making, compared to today, for the same kind of work, you're getting probably about 20% of what we got in those days. We made pretty good money. It was never enough, but it was pretty good money. And my dad could never understand how anybody would want to buy some of these drawings, some of these arts, whatever. So he was a little mystified by that. He was, I think he was really upset that I left the fold, that I left New Jersey and went to OU and never came back to New Jersey. But I don't know if that would be anything in the description, but I think overall he was,
Surely he'd be proud of you and what you've accomplished.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Okay.
I'm sure he would have been. I know he was. But he didn't. When you come up and see somebody and they smile at you.
Was he an affectionate dad?
To some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I only knew he passed away when I was about 9, and so my main memory of him is thinking of him as a very sort of serious guy, but also when he'd greet you, he did those big wild handshakes that set the tone that he wasn't as serious as he was. He'd do these big shakes, and I loved that, and so it let me know not to take him too seriously. Because he had a chair that he liked to sit in at his house. And if you were sitting in it, he'd make sure you weren't sitting in it.
It's his territory. Yeah, he had that goof. Like I said, he had that goofy side that it was always, like I said, underlying. But, that's him now.
All right. We'll move on. Question number 8. By the way, if you guys are just popping in, I'm asking questions from fatherly.com. These are questions to ask your dad. And we want to wish everybody, obviously, a happy Father's Day. What is that? Is that from?
Yeah.
Is that from Kenny?
Brother 3.
Nice. We encourage you guys to do the same because I know this is important to me and I know it's important to Brad. So, and hopefully it's important to you too, Dad.
Yeah, we hope that if you're watching tonight, you take these questions and you maybe ask your dad, and or maybe write them down and put them in an envelope. So one day, if you've got kids, maybe they can open them up and ask you, or you could fill them out now, and put them in a little time capsule or something like that.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, truthfully, I take this very seriously.
Oh, you mean what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because
we need to do one with Mom as well. I think it would be just as fascinating to sit down with Mom and ask her some of these questions as well. I look forward to that too.
Just I was mesmerized by my floating head.
Hey, by the way, we had somebody come in real quick, and they said, I want to see where was it? They referenced you as Andrew came in and says, "Yo, Dr. Monty from Black Ops 3." So Dr. Monty, I don't know who I don't know who Dr. Monty is. So I was like, what's he saying? What's Andrew saying? So I did a quick Google of Dr. Monty from Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 is a video game. And here is Dr. Monty from Black Ops 3, and now I understand.
Dad!
I can't get over it. I can't get over. That's amazing. So
that's fantastic.
Pretty amazing stuff. So
I'm waiting on a royalty check.
right. That's outstanding. All right. Next question. Question number 8.
Another real quick. Another comparison I think that you get quite often is the most fascinating man in the world.
Oh yeah.
This guy here from the what beer commercial is that?
Dos
Equis
Yes.
guy. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that one too. Okay, moving on. Let's go.
Dad, I think it'd be really great if you muted your phone, so whenever you get a text, it would not go off. just while we're going through here.
Oh, Holly said she's watching.
Oh,
it wouldn't be a call with your parents if you weren't giving them instructions on technology.
Right. Okay, question number 8. Oh, Dad,
you gotta hit and then it's a side button, and then
all right, this is like a bad SNL skit right here. Oh my God!
It's actually, I think it's better than probably most of the stuff that's on Saturday Night Live in the past.
All right, Dad, you ready? Question number 8. What mistake taught you most about life? Obviously, everybody makes mistakes, even dads.
Yeah.
And we all say stupid things, do stupid things at some point, and there's a big life lesson there. I mean, everybody's done it. We just hope our life mistakes aren't horrible.
He doesn't want to say it because I'm sitting here.
What?
You're the last mistake he ever made.
Oh.
Your biggest. I'm right here. I get it. I was the last one. All right, I'll answer it for you.
I wouldn't even go in there at all. I mean, but now let's bring it up.
Now I was on the fast track to success till you were born.
I was good through 3, and then the 4th one came, and you screwed everything up.
Okay, you know what? Damn it, that is a life lesson. Okay.
What?
I mean, it was a life lesson because it was like when Brad came around, it was like, uh-oh, type of thing. It was like, he's we're having another one. And it was like a little bit of a surprise, but it's like, God, it's incredible.
I was the best one.
Yeah. You were at least the top 4.
I knew it.
The best thing about this, Dad, is I can just do this, and it can be just us now. So congratulations.
Fair enough.
No, I mean, really, that's God. That's a serious topic there.
Well, that's why we're having this conversation.
I mean, it's an opportunity. I mean, a life.
Well, yeah, but the question, just in general, like obviously that discussion is an entirely other discussion.
That wasn't a mistake.
Right.
That was an opportunity.
Right.
But have some good feelings with it. So.
Right. Well, but do you have like a singular mistake that you feel was like a big life lesson for you that you're like, oh man, I really learned a lot from there, or maybe something, you were driving and you nearly veered off, or I don't know. I'm just trying to trigger some memories here.
No, I was driving and I did veer off. It's a good thing I did. But now I've come close to making some stupid decisions, but I never did.
Mm-hmm.
That I remember anyhow. And again, that goes back to mom and dad. Right. So, I mean, because they gave me a conscience that was hard to overcome for the sake of a good time.
Right. Well, that's good, because I think a lot of people, will, for the sake of a good time, just have that good time and not worry about the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's an incredible, valuable lesson to have, or at least that morality set. So
I think that's how you really know. It's one of those things where maybe your parents don't know they did that good of a job with you, but you know that your parents did that good of a job with you. Is that when you are in those moments? Because I was scared to let you guys down many times. When you come across certain points where you got to make a decision when you're young, whether you're going to do that thing or not. And
well, there's a lot of things you guys did that I never knew.
Well, we told you about it nowadays.
Yeah, you've heard about them on this podcast.
But yeah, but none of them were really that bad, and you is more just hijinks than anything most of the time. But at the core of it, though, all your decisions are sort of based on that foundation from growing up, where you're like, oh, what would they think of me if they saw me doing this, or if I did that,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cliff came in with this. He says, "Pretty cool you guys are this close to your pops. My dad's flipping 70 this year. Visited him for Father's Day with my girls, but I don't think he'd have the courage to answer these questions, nor me ask." Cliff, our dad, you're 73, you're 73, and it doesn't matter how old your dad is. You should ask these questions. And yeah, it's hard to ask these questions sometimes, but
maybe he's waiting for you to ask.
You think so?
Maybe he's waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do it, Cliff. You should absolutely do it. Have the courage, it's just your dad, whether you have a good relationship or not. I think these questions could actually bring you closer to your dad. So, what were we going to say, Dad?
I'm just thinking that I think it'd be flattered.
Right. Retro Revelations comes in and says, I think over half of my biggest / dumbest mistakes in life came with good intentions and me naively trusting people that I should have and wanted to take people at face value. Oh, for sure. For sure. This has been Hal's story pretty much all night. Hal over here says,
I don't even want to laugh at it. I don't know if I'm allowed to or not.
Once mine gets back from buying milk 30 years ago.
He said, what'd you say earlier, Hal? You said something about went out for hasn't come back from buying cigarettes.
Right. All right.
He'll be back. He'll be back soon. I just gave him change for his money, for his milk.
There you go. All right. Number 9 on our list of 12 questions to ask your dad from fatherly.com. Once again, I encourage everybody to do this, whether you do it on a podcast or just do it in person. Everybody should do this. I want to let you, Dad, I'm very much enjoying this. I hope you know that. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Me too. I'm having a good time. I'm doing my Frankenstein.
Yeah, you're just staring at yourself. Question number 9, as I read it off here. What world event had the most impact on you? You spoke of you being 73.
What? Oh, world events?
Yeah. What world event had the most impact on you?
Oh, God. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 9/11.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Nothing can be said about that. I mean, it's like I was thinking about your grandfather, Grandfather John, serving in the war, wondering why he's alive and why his buddies were not, all the sacrifices he made, and then it came down to being attacked on our own land. Beyond anything, that was, and it was a time when the United States just all of a sudden came together. We were all for one for a while.
I don't think it's been like that since then. You know, I feel
Well,
like it's just slowly.
like I said, it was for a while, and you get through a couple of generations, they don't know about it, they don't remember it, they don't care.
Right.
Um, and
It's crazy
Yeah.
to think that there's a whole generation that grew up not knowing what that was, not experiencing that, you know, because it seemed like just you know, I didn't even understand. I was 18. I didn't understand what had just happened that morning. But I now looking back over the last 20 years, you see how much the world changed. You know, I had 18 years to compare to the last 20 years. You know, I had 18 years prior to 9/11 to compare to 20 years after 9/11. And you really see what has happened. It's crazy.
I think you know, Brad and I are in a kind of this really unique generation of people who lived. We're really like the last generation of people who lived prior to the internet existing and after the internet existing, and prior to 9/11 and post 9/11. Like we got to experience the old way of the world, and obviously the post 9/11, post internet. You know, I feel like we're really fortunate for having to be able to live through both of those, and trying to be able to describe what life was like prior to 9/11 to somebody who, you know, who's young now. It's like, you know, you think about when 9/11 happened and the security that came in at you know, at airports, and that stuff's still there, and it's never going away, you know. And the idea, you know, so when you watch Friends or you watch a movie from the late 90s and there's this dramatic something happening at the gate, you know, where the guy runs up to the girl and he says, "Oh, I love you," whatever, that would never happen. Number one, he doesn't have a ticket. Number two, he can't go through security. You know, like there's all these obstacles, and it dates those so bad, and it's because of 9/11, and it's really bizarre. It's bizarre to think about, and I know that those who are in this age bracket, they can understand that, and I think that's one of the hardest things to describe to the younger generation. You know, you talk about this, you know, this generation that they're 2001. So this is the 20th year. September 11th will be 20 years ago. There are kids who are juniors in college now that didn't experience that, you know, that weren't even alive. And that's crazy to think about.
Right. And you speak of, Dad, you mentioned Grandpa John, and we grew up with a generation knowing our grandparents, you know, it was only 2 generations prior that had fought in World War II. We grew up with a respect and an appreciation for what they had fought for, and the life that we were living, that we've had wars in the last 20 years, obviously, but I don't think that this generation grew up understanding and appreciating military in the same respect, or veterans, or what they have in this country that is so good.
It's not, I feel very old man when I say this, but I feel like it's almost been too easy, you know, like there hasn't been, you know, I looked to, you know, Mom texted me these pictures of an article that it was a newspaper article that I was 6 when I wrote this, and she wrote this, and it was featured in a paper back then. And this is what I was thinking about when I was 6. This was featured in a paper. So like I was 6 years old thinking about this. I have a dream that we would not have a. Sorry, my phone's rotating. I have a dream that we would not have. Hold on, let me just do this. I have a dream that we would not have a war over oil. A dream that love and harmony would join forces. If this dream can come true, there would be no fighting, no wars and guns, and those things would be a thing of the past, and peace would be the thing of today. My dream could change the world. Please think about it. Right? I wrote that when I was like 6 years old. Right? So this is the mid '80s, still Cold War, you know, and you know, like those.
Thing you said, did you say think about it?
Yeah, I said please think about it. You know, just consider not fighting over oil, because that was the big thing. You know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's funny because you still use that expression.
Please think about it. Anyways, okay. So 9/11, what world event had the most impact on you? And that's interesting because it obviously had the most impact on us because you've been alive a lot longer. And I thought you'd say something along the lines of Vietnam or whatever, or the housing crisis. I don't know, but
yeah,
you know, that's crazy. All right. Question number 10 of our 12 questions you should ask your father. Once again, I encourage everybody to do this. And Hal coming in with this really good quote. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Man, what a quote. What a quote.
Who is that man?
Yeah, Hal, who said that? Who said that, and why are they so right? Man.
I'll hire him.
Man, do a drawing for him. All right, question number 10. What do you enjoy most about being a father?
It's like a cupcake with icing on it. It's because it's like, you know, you got everything underneath the icing. The icing's so good, so it's like, you know, what part? You know, it's what I like about I like the way y'all have grown up. You know, like I said the other day when I saw Scott, it's like, oh, he's a man too. You know, but it's like, but you know, it's the way you guys, Holly, Kenny, you, Brad. It's like, it's an underlying security to me. It's like, number one, it's like, you know, if I really, as I get older, you know, I feel like I'm covered, you know, in some respect, because I think y'all respect Mom and me, you respect the family unit, and your family units are, you know, really great. Watching your not only you guys, but now watching grandchildren grow. It's amazing. It's amazing, and it all started one night.
No,
we don't want to hear about that. Thank you, Dad.
No, Dad, no.
Grandma's listening.
Oh God. All right, next question. All right, this should be a
Quickly, Craig. Quickly.
I want your honest answer here. I really do. I realize that we're
all this time. I swear.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, we have a lot of people. We have people watching, but I want to hear your honest answer. What was the hardest moment for you as a father?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me about what favorite ice cream I like. I'm sorry, one more time.
What was the hardest moment for you as a father?
It's coffee ice cream, by the way.
I knew that.
Hardest thing for me as a father.
Pull up this picture while he's thinking.
At what age?
Here's your family as a young man, raising these kids.
How old were you here, Dad? You're probably my age, huh?
Back then?
Yeah, probably 40.
Was I ever your age? I don't know.
We were talking the other day at Craig's party about how Craig and I have more gray hair prior to being 40 than you did at 40.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing to talk about, because we were just talking about how easy life is these days. Why are we so stressed that we're getting all this gray hair?
That's the little things that build up. Um, um,
The hardest moment. Was there a hardest time as a dad that you were just like, God?
just happened right now. It's like, uh,
Maybe
oh,
balancing.
I think early on as a dad, taking when your kids are in distress, and I remember the first time, like I think we had to take Holly back to the hospital for heartbeat or something like that.
Like when she was a baby?
Yeah, is that right, Holly? Where were you?
She's watching. She has no idea.
I guess she wouldn't remember, Grandma. But yeah, that's the hardest thing to see your kids in distress. In particular when your life, when one of them is that I know, like when Brad had, I guess Austin had some issues there too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's.
Well, I grew up really fast in that moment. We had to take him back, and I had to make some adult decisions as a father for some very serious decisions with this very newborn infant. Yeah.
It's things that you don't have control over that are most distressing. And like I said, I don't know how I would have handled, something happened to any of you guys. Luckily, I don't need to, didn't need to find out.
I'd say that's the thing that I think for me, as now as one father to another, which is weird. I mean, still it's weird, but that's the thing that I think keeps me up at night the most is my kids are 7 and 9, and they haven't even hit like the part where they're moving around and going around, hanging out with their friends and stuff, and to the point where they can make bad decisions, and that stuff scares the shit out of me, and I just hope that I raise them to the point where they can make good decisions and don't, when they make bad decisions, their bad decisions aren't bad enough, they're recoverable because everybody makes bad decisions. So Pizza Time actually has a really good question here. They say a mother becomes one when she realizes she's pregnant, and a father becomes one when they hold their child for the first time. As someone with no kids yet, any truth to this?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, we just bumble along, don't we?
Yeah,
we bumble along and watch the wife go, grow in her belly, and she's going through this enormous challenge and change, and we just are standing to the side going, "Oh, is there anything I can do?" And then you're not really a dad until the baby comes out, and then you're like, "Oh," and then you go,
crap.
"Oh, I did this too," like I'm a part of this, but you just bumble along.
The step now that with the something that made reality come a little bit quicker with sonograms and that. So I was like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still doesn't ease it into the, fact that when you hold them in your hands, and when you're there, and like back then, I was there for the births of everybody except Holly. Holly decided she didn't need to wait for me, so I went to park the car, and she was already born.
I've heard this story.
She must have been ready to go.
Oh man, yeah, mom was because I was hurrying up, I was running in to get into the operating room, and said sorry.
Right. Well, yeah.
Hal has another great quote here. You want to pull that up?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to be the perfect parent. If you want to know the right way to raise children, ask someone who's never had them. My grandma. That is such a great quote, because I have felt like right now, so many people without kids are trying to raise a generation. So many people that don't understand what being a parent is like are trying to influence a younger generation. I appreciate that quote. Long story
I
short.
feel there's a lot of truth to that, and there's so much truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this all the time. People ask me, like, what's it like to be a dad? And I always say, like, I had a life before, before I had kids. But like everything after that's been the best part of my life. That's when my life like truly began. Everything else was leading up to that. And in 2012, when Mackenzie first came, like that's when my life began what it is now. And I think that's the biggest thing is as you know, for a while, I was taking, mom, dad, you and mom out to lunch, and I just want to talk to you. I just want to know what your life was prior to us. And like I would just kind of ask mom questions, and like, she'd tell me, well, I stayed at this, tell me questions about, where they stayed in Oklahoma, and I've had this like saved in my phone for forever, so maybe I can just go up there and go to like the Tower dorms in Oklahoma where you guys stayed, and just so I can have those things. And
Mine's not there anymore.
What's that?
Mine's not there anymore.
Well, but I just want to go up there and see these things because, I want to know. I want to know about these things, and I want to know about your life prior to, prior to us. That's important to me.
That's something we touched on that the other day, about when you see a shack on the side of the road that's been abandoned.
Right.
Everything is living. One way or another, or was living, or created life, or whatever it is, because it's like somebody who poured the foundation, somebody who thought about the house, drew the house, and all this other stuff. That it's not to get too deep, but it's like to appreciate what was before, that it meant something to somebody, and to see it, abandoned. It's just not just the structure. It's not just something there. There was a purpose. There was a whole different world that revolved around that piece of architecture or rock. I mean, it's
one of my favorite things when I was on tour, 15 years ago or so, was getting to see your childhood home and getting to see mom's childhood home. And that's kind of exactly what you're talking about, except they're not, they're still up, and they're not broken down shacks on the side of the road. But getting to, both times I pulled up and was, I was trying to avoid looking like a creepy stalker outside of somebody's house, but I was lucky enough to where both people at both houses that were there came out and had a nice chat and invited me in, and I was able to go inside and think about, my parents as children, running around the yard and the house. And I was able to say, I brought back footage and we watched it, and I showed it to you and I said, was that still there? And you were like, oh yeah. And then you told me a story about, just different little aspects of what we were watching. But that's incredibly, I feel incredibly lucky to have been able to get that experience, because we drive by those things all the time. We see those little dilapidated buildings on the side of the road, like you're saying, and we don't really think much of it, but it does mean something to somebody somewhere.
And like in my house, my dad and my grandfather built that thing, so it's like every nail in there. It's.
And the lady that was at your house, at your childhood home, had stories about grandma and grandpa. And that was the coolest thing ever, because they remembered them. So I was not only able to get a little bit of your history, but their history as well. So it's pretty cool.
wasn't about the menage a trois.
Okay,
Oh my
God.
No, Dad. No.
We're getting too serious.
No.
Oh Lord. Brad's gonna disconnect. He's out.
By the way, that was church property when you saw it. So.
I know.
Which makes it even worse.
I know.
All right. Last one, Dad. We made it through all 12 questions. It's only taken about an hour and 20 minutes. We're doing pretty good.
Chambi's still awake.
Yes.
Mecca high.
Mecca high. Oh, sorry. Here he is. By the way, we've seen Dad in several different states today.
Oh,
he's been here.
Yeah.
He's been.
He's been blue marker here. I can do my face.
He's been this guy. That's awesome. All right. Okay. Last question, Dad. Last question.
Okay.
And this is one that I really want you to take to heart because this kind of goes into the last thing we were just talking about. What is one story that we don't know about you? While my dad thinks of this stuff, I want to remind you guys, I encourage everybody to do this with your dads. There's a link in the description or in the chat. It's from fatherly.com. It's 12 questions you should ask your dad. I fully encourage you to do it. And, even if you don't think they want to hear it, they want to hear it. They want to have this conversation with you. They want to talk to you.
Yeah. Why don't we do the, while Dad thinks about this, because I want a story I've never heard before. While Dad thinks about this, why don't we send our fine viewers to feed the Al Gore rhythm? Okay. And Sounds good. You can comment with a fond memory of fatherhood in any kind of scenario in your life.
I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Young people today, let me ask you this. How can we party? The earth is so big. Can we party? I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Party.
All right, Dad. We're finishing up here. We're on our final question of 12 questions you should ask your dad from fatherly.com. All good questions, by the way. Like all really good questions.
Yeah.
What is one story that we don't know about you from any point in your life, Dad?
That's things that are relevant, whether you need to hear them or not.
Doesn't matter, Dad. Honestly, it doesn't matter to us. Just like tell us something.
When I ran out of toilet paper one day, it's like
everybody ran out of toilet paper last year.
Well, that doesn't count.
Tell us about like your childhood friend. What'd you do like when you were a kid? Like what did you?
That's a good question.
Did you have a best friend?
Who was
I
your
didn't have a best
friend?
And I've had a couple. I had a couple friends, whether or not they knew that they were best friends or not. But I did have one experience that I don't know if I've related this or not, but the first girl that I ever had a crush on. No.
Nope. Tell us.
Second girl. I went to school. I took her to prom.
What was her name?
Sheila.
Sheila what?
Fairchild.
These are important details, Dad.
Well,
like I've talked about how I went, like my first date was with a girl named Darcy Walkaluck. All right, just tell you this, like Fairchild's a much better name than Walkaluck.
Yeah. Well, I was pretty naive about, boy meet girl type of thing. And I went away to school after taking her out a couple times, and I had this major crush on her, and anyhow, about, not sure when it was later, I kind of lost contact with her after I made a fool of myself.
How? What'd you do?
Oh, I was more embarrassed for myself. I took her out on a date. I think we went to see the Beach Boys. And I drove her home.
That's why I put the Beach Boys record up, by the way. Not because you went on a date with her, but because I know you like the Beach Boys.
But anyhow, I came home and walked her to the door, and I gave her a peck on the cheek. And I'm trying to become, I'm trying to be macho man, dumb shit. And I gave her a peck on the cheek, and I go, "There's more where that came from."
Wait, is that how you made the fool of yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then she's like, "No, there's not. See ya," and then you didn't see her for a while.
There's more. Where
At the end of the story, I actually,
I'll walk myself out.
I have, I ran across her sister online through our high school group, and she never gave me a confirmation of a question that I asked her, because I found out that she later burned up in a fire.
Oh,
it was,
no.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't, a friend then. It was just
how did she die? Was it a house? Was it
all I understood is that it was a house fire. That's what I had understood. But
no,
it's crazy.
And I hope I misunderstood it, because I never. I've asked her sister. Well, I had asked her sister if she was actually the sister of, and she said yes, she remembered me. So, but
like,
in those days, a lot of people smoked like crazy, and she was also a smoker, and her mom was a chain smoker, and I could see how that, could have happened in a small house or something. But.
Okay, look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this, Dad. This was a really great story until you told us the girl you took to prom died in a house fire, probably caused by cigarettes. All right, it really took a dark turn. We need another story to end on a high note, because you had us going with "there's more where that came from," and now I don't want to end this on a low. I need another story, Dad. I'm sorry. Tell us about your childhood friend. And tell us about. Did you only go to one prom? Did you go to two proms?
No, I went to one prom. I'm sorry about my squeaky chair. I'm trying not to move.
Don't apologize for these things. Just let it happen. It's okay.
Well, it's I think I got worms or something. But then okay. I went to, when I was at OU. I took. There was a girl in one of my art classes that I really liked. This is before I met Mom. And
I hope so.
Why? You got to play the field. No. I had a very small field, actually.
Very small. The field wasn't very big.
Did I ever tell you how I met Mom?
I went on 3 dates.
Tell us again.
What was it? What was this?
How I met Mom.
How you met Mom? That's why I pulled up this picture. Look at these beautiful people.
Oh,
I wanted you to tell that story. I was going to say, why don't we end it on that? Why don't you tell us how you met Mom?
Because
I've heard the story, but I want to hear it again. I want it recorded for future generations.
Oh, shoot. I better turn the
you
light
better
on.
get it right.
Well, okay.
Listen, Zombie.
She's watching.
I don't even have a neck anymore.
You don't. You don't.
Look at this.
This is kind of cool.
Anyhow, people. Oh my God.
They just like me now.
Haven't changed a bit.
No,
it's just better lighting that day.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyhow, yeah, I was at the school, the student union at OU, and I again was pretty much a loner, or didn't have a gang that I was hanging with or a group of guys that I was hanging with, and I decided I'm going to go over to the student union, and it's actually kind of funny. There's a longer version of this. I don't know if you've heard it, but I had a suit on. Right, this is the days you wore suits when you went out someplace. So I had a suit, and I decided to wear it that night. And anyhow, nothing was going on over at the student union, and I'm walking back through the campus, and these guys came up in a car, and a Cadillac, like a '55 Cadillac, I think it was, and they yelled out something to me. They thought I was a fraternity guy because I had a suit on. Far from it. Anyhow, I yelled back at them. Now, that was a stupid thing to do. That might go back in that other question you asked. but anyhow, they came back and they decided that they didn't like my retort. And they got out, and one of them was a wrestler for OU, this short guy, but he had two buddies with him, and they came out and set me, they confronted me, two guys in the back, one in the front, and it didn't get into a fight or anything like that, but it was just one of these stupid altercations that were like,
"What'd you say to me?" One of those
well,
things.
Yeah, it was kind of like that type of thing,
Do you remember this? Like, do you remember what was said?
It was an impact on me.
Well, tell us. I
don't remember all what was said right now, because I found out later on that the guys was in one of my classes, and I ended up confronting him. Matter of fact, I confronted him in a convenience store.
When you say confronted him, you mean you were like talk to him about it, or do you like got to like pushing and fighting about it?
No, I wasn't pushing and fighting or anything, but I walked up and faced him, and he pissed me off. But anyhow, I kept on walking that night, and went to another party on South Campus, walked to it, and just as I'm walking in, it was at an apartment complex. This is, again, where God was looking out for me, I think, on this one. But down comes on a stairway is this really gorgeous lady that's being walked down with this. Actually, it was a dorm. Somebody was in my dorm. He was like a frat boy or something like that. He went into the frat houses and took care of them and stuff like that. Anyhow, he was apparently very, very obnoxious. And Mom was going, Patty was going. He says, she didn't know me from Adam, but she's going, take me away from this guy. Take me away from this guy. It was like, and it was like, me? What? You're looking at me?
Like,
yeah, it's really, and it's like,
okay.
yeah. And since I knew the guy too, it was like, I was like, what, I asked him what's going on, that type of thing. But anyhow, I ended up taking her back to the student union.
What do you mean by taking her? Like, were you just like, hey man, she doesn't want to be with you? Like,
yeah.
Hey, so get your damn hands off of her.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I sold the movie rights to that, but yeah, it was like that, and it was one of those, fairy tale kind of things, and it was like I'm the whole night I'm going, I'm here with this gorgeous woman.
Right.
What a gift that is for your life, Dad, to just be walking in as your future wife is walking down, and she's like, let's go. And then you're okay. And then
Yeah.
you go and you're like you're probably doing what you're saying. You're just like, what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, you see women like that, or girls on campus and stuff like that, and you're just like, looking out the corner of your eye at them, or you can't keep your eyes off them. And here was one just laid in my hand.
I feel like there's an entire story here that starts way before you start walking up those stairs, and it's from mom's side, and I've never heard that side, and I know either. Well, and that's just it. Like
being very fresh to her.
Yeah, right, and I feel like that's. I want to know the story of this before then. I want to know, like, who is this guy? What was he doing? Why did mom feel the need to go to this party with him? Did she go to the party with him? Like, how did she meet him? Like, there's so many questions that I have prior to this that lead up to this exact moment where your two lives came together, and now here we are 50 years later talking about it on a podcast.
You know what's even really more weird?
No.
And I think I may have told you this once before, but when I'm growing up in New Jersey, we went to our church in Milltown, and there was a house in back of the church that always had a special attraction to me. And I have no idea what it was, but there was an attraction to me. Years and years later, I meet your mother randomly. That was her uncle that lived there.
Oh, in the house?
In that house behind my church in New Jersey.
Wow.
Talking about random,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would have bought a lottery ticket that day, and I should have.
Right. Well, that kind of goes along the sides of, like, what's weird about that is, like, there are these weird connections along the way. I go back to, you guys were doing balloons. You did the parades downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
And who was the person you worked with? Kristen's parents. So, like, did you know that, Brad?
I think I had heard that story.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Kristen's mom hired mom and dad to do those floats downtown. And, I'm working on these things when I'm, whatever, 12, 11, 13. And my future wife is the
Somewhere
daughter
right by you. Yeah.
Like, how bizarre is that?
Yeah. Well, my story is the same with Kelly as well, because mom and dad got a job for CBS Radio, for Infinity Broadcasting, it was called back then. And they traded the job for the radio station to get me a job at the radio station because I was bumbling around, not doing anything. So they said, we'll give you this job. We'll do the work. You have to give our son a job. And I got a job at the promotions department. I thought it was the easiest interview ever. I remember walking out of that job interview going, that seemed really easy. Long story short, my future wife is working there. She's my boss at the radio station. And so all those events, mom and dad's company getting hired by the radio station, them saying, look, well, can you get our son a job?
Can we back? I'm sorry.
Have you never heard this? Have you never heard this?
No. Like, what is this? Like 1888, where they're like,
they bartered. They bartered.
Listen, we'll give you this balloon arch in exchange for a job for our son and that sheep over there.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys actually ever got paid for it. Surely you got paid something, but you worked in it. No way. I don't know. Either way, it worked out because I ended up marrying.
Sacrifices you got to make for your family.
Well, look at how precise life can work out for you, though, and how all these intertwined little paths and journeys are so close at different periods of your life that they can all, just align so precisely perfect. Isn't that fantastic to know and to observe?
And you think about our lives now and just how, really just the weird ass butterfly effect of everything that literally leads to right now at this exact second talking to everybody. You know, if dad wasn't delayed by talking to those guys in the car, you know, like if dad didn't decide to wear a suit that night you know what I mean? Like all these weird things that led to this.
There were, it's, I mean, it is so bizarre. Okay. Up to that point, right? We got married, did the balloon thing. We go to a special event dinner in Dallas, Texas. I come from New Jersey. Patty, basically Florida. We go to this meeting or this special event dinner. This guy comes walking up to me. He says, "Did you have an uncle named Charles?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, so I bought a coin from him back. He was a numismatist, I guess is what it's called. But
he bought a coin.
He bought a coin from my uncle in New Jersey.
A weird thing to remember.
At the time, he lived in Michigan, I think it was. And now we're meeting at a freaking dinner in Dallas.
How did he like recognize you? Did he like?
He heard the name.
Oh, here's Skistimus. Okay.
Yeah, it was just he just heard the name, and it's like, you know.
Wow.
It's so bizarre.
People do remember the name Skistimus. I had that happen on LinkedIn a few years ago, where I had reached out to a guy about an opportunity, and he said, "Are you related?" It is the same situation. "Are you related to James Skistimus?" And I said, "Yeah, that's my dad." And he had come across your illustrations in the 80s, and he was like, I remember that name in your father's work. So it's just that name, I think, sticks with people so much so that you will remember buying a coin from us.
Yeah. And
bizarre.
I mean, yeah, I mean, and there's so many things, even with like with Damon and stuff like that, you know, how we got to know each other. It was like, it's just so freaky. I mean, if you consider it freaky, but I don't know what else to call it. But just chance, chance, all the stars lining up at the right time.
Well, this has been awesome. I listen. I know people are watching us. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is awesome for me. What's that?
Trying to figure out how to do my exit.
I'll do that for you, John B.
You just pull back and you'll fade away, I think.
Yeah, I think you will fade out into the darkness if you do that. But don't do that just yet. Nye came in with the tier 1 sub for 6 months. Says shout outs to Father Craig and all the dads who have given us life, love, and inspiration, and to Craig and Brad who have given us great entertainment over the years. Thank you all. Nye, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing. Brad, you got anything else?
I was just gonna say thanks for coming on the show and sharing your time and experience and answers with us tonight. This is one of the cool things about this show. Oh, you could have done that the entire time. Dad has played the ultimate joke.
Oh no.
Dad went, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to do the entire show in the dark as a floating head.
Looking like Steve Jobs floating head.
When they're done talking to me, I'm going to flip on the lights and just have natural good light. He could have done that the whole time.
Jerk.
That was Mom.
Oh, Lord. Hey,
well,
wait, hold on. Is Mom there?
Mom.
If she's there, should we hold off till Mother's Day, or should we get her on right now to tell her the side of her story?
No, I think we save that for another time. We got to do an exclusive interview for 2 hours with Mom.
Okay, sounds good. We'll do that. Mom, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make that happen. All right.
Yeah.
And this concludes episodes 108. Oh, there, James, right there.
Oh,
nice.
Your name on your mug.
Wait till next Mother's Day.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, Dad, you know what'd be great? This is actually really good. Jeff Eckerson says, "I'd love to see your dad's curated work. Could be for a nice illustration book."
I
Yeah,
have it all scanned in.
Mom,
we should post on it. You know what we should do? We should do NFTs of it, like NFTs of dad's work
and
online.
Hold on. A few years ago,
We should sell your work online. That can go to your retirement, which you don't have. I think that'd be great.
that's how well the work would sell.
I think that'd be awesome.
all right.
And go to my
So
James Christmas design.
a few years ago, I had scanned in a few things. I had put together a Society 6 store. It's still up and running.
Should I put this on? Should I
You
show
can
this?
share it. Sure, if somebody wants it, as an example. These were a few. I only did 3 things. I was testing the waters with it. This was one of his illustrations. This was one of my favorite ones that Dad did. This was a mechanical hand with all of the different art pieces on the fingers. Really cool design, and you can actually order that on Society 6. It's a really great, cool piece. There was this baseball mitt and glove, which was cool. This goat guy. What was this for, Dad?
That was for public radio something. It was part of a series of 6 of them, I think.
I have scanned in all of my dad's work, everybody. I have made sure it's archived. It was sitting in the garage for many years, and I have scanned it all in, as much of it as I can find. I do have it all saved. So,
Okay.
yeah, maybe we'll do something like that.
That'd be fun.
Make a weekdays with Craig and Brad series of shirts with Dad's art on it. Goat guy.
Get goat guy in. There you go. All right. That was fun. Guys, I appreciate you guys popping in tonight and watching. If you guys are watching over on YouTube, do me a favor and do the old thumbs up on this. That'd be great. Thumbs up or help the YouTube algorithm. And once again, comment your favorite dad memory, regardless of if it's of your dad or yourself. And yeah, there you go. Look at my dad. Hey, Dad, can you show everybody your thumb? Your gnarled up thumb. Yeah, look at that.
Getting ready to start a new Larry.
There's been a lot of them.
From last season.
All right.
You know what that's from, Brad?
What?
You know what that's from, right?
No.
Doing.
Oh, that was from the slingshot on our vacation together. That's fantastic. That's still there. 3 or 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a man's thumb is what it is. It's a father's thumb is what it is.
All right. There it is right there. That's right. All right. The manliest man ever. Our dad. Dad, thank you very much. I love you so much.
Love you too. Love you too.
Brad, you're
love
all right.
you, Dad.
We'll see you later.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on tonight.
You know, I'm gonna roll this full Father's Day intro as the outro here.
Yeah, did you see the intro, Dad?
Here it
Made
is.
a special one. Here we go.
Life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. We're gonna make it today. Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
It's a pretty good stash, wasn't it?